many homes. And that's where the number of homes comes from. And then I'll say, hey, while you have me on the phone, are there any questions you have for me right now? I want to hear what questions they have. I talked to one guy today and he said, well, where's your office at? We have offices all over. I sell properties all over. Any other questions? No. I'm going out of town. Can you call me when I get back? Yep. You want to make sure that both the parties are going to be there. If they're married, husband and wife, both of them are there. Right? You're not going to get them to agree on anything if they're not there to agree. So you need to ask them, what's your and your wife's schedules like? When's the time when you both are available? Ask them those specific questions. Well, I'm available all the time, but my husband usually doesn't get home till 6. Right? Which day of the week next week could you get home early one day? Or would you like to get home early? So that's it. There's basic questions, but you want to have them in front of you so that you're reminded to ask them, and then you just go down and ask each question. And then when you're done, you'll know exactly what you're showing up for, and they'll know exactly what you're showing up for. But if you don't get all the questions answered, then the outcome usually isn't good because there's something that you weren't prepared for. Again, it's like that doctor going in to do surgery and not having looked at the x-rays and then gets in there and finds out something that they weren't expecting. And then there's issues. So you don't want to have issues. You want to have it, know exactly what's going on. They know what's going on. It's, streamlined, it's professional. You're not that bumbling agent that's all scattered. You've differentiated yourself. Make sense?
So in the pre-list packet, you just want them to be familiar with the listing contract?
No, there's no listing contract in it. We want them to look at, the purpose of saying the pre-list package is to do a couple things. Number one, to differentiate yourself. Number two, to save time. Because you can have them look through a bunch of stuff, get a lot of their questions answered before you get there, so you don't have to deal with it. Giving them references, your track record, your resume, your any other information on you that you think is pertinent to them making a decision to hire you. I give them all the disclosure forms because I don't want to deal with those.
Do you have instructions in your package, like fill these disclosures out before I get
Yeah, there's on the confirmation letter it says, hey, look forward to seeing you at our office tomorrow at 3 or seeing you at your home tomorrow at 4. Enclosed you'll find, my resume, this, all the disclosure forms we tried to give a buyer. We've highlighted all the sections for it.
Which disclosures are you giving them? You haven't actually taken the listing. You're not.
Every disclosure form that they need to fill out.
Full TDSs and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
So they really did their homework. They're really already pretty much tied to you.
Yeah, which is the idea. Yeah.
Would I be correct in understanding you said you do not include a listing agreement in the pre-listing package?
Correct.
May I ask why?
I'd ask the same question. Why?
Why would you?
Yeah.
For the 1 minute, or you just go pick it up, or they're familiar with contract terms?
It's going to take 1 minute either way, whether it's in there or not. Most people don't understand it, and I don't want them, if they don't understand it, they typically don't like it, or there's some issues. And so, there's some stuff that's just better to explain in person so you can handle whatever needs to be handled.
What if they say, yeah, everything sounds good, but I would want to read this over before I sign anything. I need to read it over.
Okay, what exactly do you need to read over?
The listing agreement.
All right, well, why don't we go through it together since I'm very familiar with it and you're not. I'll be able to explain it to you.
So what exactly goes into your pre-list package, and then what do you take with you on the appointment?
So again, what goes in the pre-list package is resume, track record, references, testimonials, disclosures. What I take with me is the listing agreement and the comps.
cost of is that market evaluation that you're putting together, like a CMA out of
Yeah.
the MLS, color, pictures and all that?
No, just the,
Quick
just the basic,
CMA?
yeah.
So do you ever, or in your pre-list package, do you include that?
No.
Do you ever email before you get there, like your presentation?
I email the pre-list package, yeah.
Do you have any suggestions for newbies about resume and track record and history?
Well, your resume is your resume. So if and you don't have to include a resume, by the way, so you can make that determination. But as far as track record, you can put our company's track record. We've sold. Here's the 75 homes we've sold since January 1st. Right, you can go to the MLS, do a search by office, and pull out the sales of our office. But whether you're new or not, you can have references.
And this is a good question. The code for this for Keller Williams Carmel Valley is actually under 3 different broker numbers. So if you just pull up one broker number, you may not get the true picture of what this office is. There's 2 for this location and 1 for Chris. But Jude, just contact Jude, and she'll make sure that you're pulling up the right information to get a total picture.
If you're pulling up the office statistics.
Chris, do you ever talk about price before your presentation?
Yeah, it often comes up. I'm asking them, what they want to list the home for, and or they're going to ask me, or I'm going to have looked at comps, during the lead follow-up process. So, yeah, it comes up. And again, depending on their motivation or how the conversation's going, they're going to be really specific with them, or I'm going to say, until we meet, I won't be able to tell you. I need to see the house. And I may know, but I may be telling them that because, I know I just need to get the appointment.
And then do you put your suggested price in your pre-listing packet?
No.
It sounded like a lot of the agents at the one-on-one retreat were doing that.
Yeah, I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm just saying I don't do it.
You were saying
A lot of people, and here's why I don't do it. A lot of people don't understand. It's like saying a CMA. A lot of people don't know how to read a CMA. In fact, 90% of them don't know how to read a CMA. More than 50% of agents don't know how to read a CMA. So, I'm going to send them that. They're going to read, they're going to look at it and go, oh, boy, it looks like my house is, 1.3. I'm going to look at it and go, well, based on what's actually selling and what's, in escrow, it's 1.1. So, let me explain, what you're looking at versus what's really this says.
So when I've watched you role play, it seems like you've had each property on its own page.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but you're saying you actually just use the quick CMA page where you've got the active pending.
Well, sometimes print out the individual properties, like if there's model matches or homes in the neighborhood, we'll print those out and use them if I need to. But most of the time I don't need to do it. Most of the time I'm just telling them, here's what it needs to be to sell.
So if one of the ones that sold is extremely nice compared to your model, you might.
Then I'll
take
say,
it, just
say,
hey,
well,
you
gosh,
make
Chris,
your
what about the
cost
one that sold
comparisons.
for, $1 million? Well, have you folks ever been in that house? No, but it's the same floor plan as ours. Well, let me show you. Were you aware that they had just spent, $80,000 on a new kitchen? And not only do they have a pool, but they have a pool on a view, and we don't have either. So. Or a lot of times they think, property gets listed in their neighborhood for, $850,000 and sells, and they think that's what it sold for. Or they were told, they asked the neighbor, the third neighbor down the line, has told them that, oh, they got what they wanted. Or they got, 8 1/4. And then, found out it really sold for $790. Well, we heard